Hello everyone. Today we are here with Andrej Godina, the president of Umami company in Delakota Training Center, and we're gonna speak about blending. So the first interesting question, I guess, is Andrej. What do you think is the future of espresso blending? What will the big commercial roasters and the little, specialty roasters face in the future according to espresso blending?
Okay, so thanks Yuri for the question. We have to understand and to introduce before speaking about the answer that the espresso comes from Italy. So more than 100 years of tradition and history. And it's important to understand that the Italian roasters in this time, they build up the coffee blends, especially using Arabica and Robusta coffee. And especially in south of Italy, the roasting color is pretty dark. So this was what happened until now. The specialty coffee sector in the last 10 years changed this, I would say, design or concept on how to brew espresso, having lighter colors, more Arabica coffee. So I think that in the future and still now, we are on the way that we change our I will say not change, maybe we innovate also here in Italy, the way how to blend coffee. And this is the topic of this coffee course that we did together here in Italy, in Milano. So more Arabica, lighter colors, and probably more on the direction to roast separately the single origins coffees, used for the blend, and not all together, as was in the past.
Great. And what do you think are the main, issues or kind of struggles which we are facing now according to constructing our espresso blends?
Building an espresso blend, it's not easy. So that's why also Italians has so long history and they are so good to do that. And first of all, the green coffee quality. So not all the coffees are good for espresso. So for example, cup of excellence.
Of course.
So that it's the main important coffee competition for filter coffees. So if you are taking the best cup of excellence green coffee beans and you are trying to build with that coffees a good espresso blend, will come out absolutely an unbalanced espresso cup. So it's very important, first of all, and one of the most difficult part probably at the beginning is to choose the right green beans for espresso. The second issue is absolutely roasting profile. So not all the roasting profiles and not all the heat transfer technology are good for espresso. For example, fast roasting profiles are good for filter but not for espresso. So that's why more or less a roasting profile between 13-15 minutes usually is very good for espresso blends. And also regarding the heat transfer technology for espresso, we required some convection but also some conduction. So that's very important. And at the end is the sensory part. So when you are building an espresso blend, you have absolutely to think which is the result that you want to obtain at the end into the cup in terms of course, crema, how much would be consistent and persistent the crema in your cup, which will be the taste balance. So especially I always underline that an espresso should be and probably have to be very sweet. And then also all the aromas that you want to build up in your cup. So I would say these 3 points probably are the most difficult one and the ones that you have to think about when you are doing an espresso blend.
In advance.
Yeah, absolutely in advance.
Thank you. So Andrej, could you please tell us also about some tips or advice for the people, for the companies who would like to construct, to make their own unique and tasty espresso blends?
Okay, not easy to say or to answer, but we can figure out some basics and maybe some advanced tips.
Yeah, it would be nice.
Basic tips, absolutely, to think about how many coffees you want to use in the blend, because it depends on your roasting plant. So how many green coffee silos you have. I would say that at least you should think about using 3 single origins coffee. In the typical Italian tradition, the most percentage of the single origin used in the coffee blend is from Brazil, usually natural Brazilian coffees, because this kind of coffees gives to the cup especially body, sweetness, and very nice bakery aroma. Another tip that if you want a hint of acidity, floral and fruity and citrus notes, for sure you have to use which coffees?
African, I guess.
Great. So he followed the course with me in these days.
Of course I did.
No, yeah, you are right, Yuri. So African coffees, especially Ethiopia and Kenyan coffees, are most used in the Italian espresso blends, just to give to the cup this hint of acidity and very pleasant flowers and fruity notes.
Yeah.
Another tip, maybe more advanced, if you want to do something different from what you can find on the market, it's nice to think about using one single origin, but roasted with different roasting profiles. So it's nice to think to add with this single coffee acidity with a lighter color, more body, more crema, more bakery aroma with the same coffee but roasted darker, maybe with a roasting profile that emphasizes, for example, the body, and a middle color that can give to the cup profile, I don't know, the flower notes, some liquorice, and a good balance in tastes. So this could be also something to think about.
Yeah, because roasting influences your coffee like really much. You can make totally different coffees depending on how you roast it, if you're using just the same coffee. So.
Absolutely, and another tip is when you do quality control in your lab, so you are using an espresso coffee machine, think about and control and be sure that this machine is able to perform the same water temperature during the irrigation, not only during the single extraction, but also cup by cup. Because we tried in these days that you change only half Celsius degree of the water temperature, and this change also the cup profile. So sometimes it happens that if you don't have the right espresso coffee machine equipment stable, you can find different cup profile in your espresso, not due because you change the blend or you change some parameters in the roasting profile, but only because the machine is not able to perform the same water temperature. So also this is something very important to think about when you buy your espresso coffee machine.
It's interesting also, maybe you have some comments about remastering your client's experience in the lab while testing your blend.
Yeah, when you build up your espresso blend, you can change the cup profile using different parameters in the machine. We did in these days with the water pressure profile, with different waters, with different water temperatures. So it's important to invite your clients and people and potential customers to your lab to try your coffee, to figure out which is the best cup profile also that they like, and then to replicate it in the coffee shop. So this is also something that it's important to let understand people why you decided to build a certain blend and why you suggested to extract it and to produce it with some parameters on the machine. So.
You know, the interesting tip that Andrej gave me, which is totally logical and on the surface, but still it's, you know, very nice one. Just use the water which your client is going to be using to remaster the experience, because water is very important when we talk about preparing the beverage. So
absolutely. For example, we tried to extract the same coffee with a water with a very low TDS, so it means like something a water for filter coffee, and there was no way to have a very thick crema and a very high body in the cup. So, for example, if it happened that in your customer is using this kind of water, you have a little bit to redesign the roasting color, the roasting profile, and probably also the blend to let your client have enough crema, for example, and enough body.
So, Andrej, thank you very much for
Welcome.
hosting us in Milan, for organizing this course, which was very interesting. And yes, thank you very much.
And I think that it's important to follow the course here in Italy. You experiment that because it's important to feel the espresso coffee culture that we have here in Italy. It's important to visit the most important espresso coffee machine manufacturer that we have here, where the espresso born. So that's why thanks to you to come, here in Italy.
So we're gonna organize some more collaboration projects with Andrej and Umami area. I'm quite sure they're gonna be interesting and it's gonna be very fun. If you want to join us, just visit our site or join us on Instagram and you will be in touch about these collaboration projects. Have fun, do a nice coffee, and bye.
Bye-bye.